Scene merges are difficult. So how do we deal with that? One thing you can obviously do is just never work on a scene concurrently. Plastic even offers tools for that, which we will see later, called locks. But they also have their limitations. And on some projects, particularly with a team, it might be too restrictive to not allow anyone to touch the scene while someone else is working on it. So we need other solutions. Whatever solution we might come up with, its basic goal will always be the same: reduce concurrent changes on large files. Good for us that Unity offers solutions out of the box which don't really have to do anything with plastic. One of them is called prefabs. If you don't know anything about prefabs, I would recommend to spend 5 minutes and do a quick research. The crucial reason why prefabs are helping us in terms of version control is that the scene file only needs to store a reference to the prefab and not all the data about the components any longer. Let's see a quick example. When I add a cube to the scene the normal way, without a prefab, and look at the scene div, you can see this very large block that is basically storing everything about the cube and all its components, like colliders, the mesh renderer, and so on. When I make a prefab out of the cube, all of that information moves to a separate prefab file, which is not affecting the scene at all. When I open the scene div now, there still seems to be a pretty large block of changes here, but if you look closely, all that this is for one, a reference to the prefab file, and everything else is basically transform information, so local positions and rotations. If you think about it, that makes total sense, because the scene still needs to know where to put the prefab. The crucial point, however, is that all the changes to the actual prefab objects are now totally independent from the scene. To make this more clear, I will now show you a possible workflow that you might adapt for your needs. Let's imagine that we are working on a game where we have two teams doing something. For that, we'll need some minimal setup. We need a plane, and then we need some prefabs. In order for a level designer to be able to work on the scene, let's add some placeholder objects for both teams. Every team gets 3 versions of the same prefab. That's enough for preparation. This will be the starting point for our project. We decided that it would be a good idea to split up the work into 3 different sections, which can be executed concurrently. So let's use plastic for that and create 3 different branches. The first one is for the level designer. The second one is for someone who will work on Team A. And the third for Team B. Now we can start our work on one of the branches. How about Team A? As Team A developer, I have the following task. The Team A players should be blue jumping cubes. So I add the familiar blue material. Then I also need some very simple script which will make the cubes jump. And now I can start working on the prefab. Let's remove the stuff we got from the capsule and instead add a cube. We assign the material, slightly reposition the cube, add a rigid body, and finally add the jumper script. That's it. Our work is done. We can test out the behavior of our cubes. Notice that we actually introduced some major visible changes to the scene. But when we look at the pending changes, the scene file wasn't touched at all. Apart from the new assets, all our changes happened on the prefab, and that's exactly what we want. Let's check in and repeat the same process for Team B. Obviously, Team B's objects will be red. Team B's special skill is not jumping, but moving, so I add a very trivial script for random movement. Then on the prefab, this time we want a sphere instead of a cube. And the rest is basically the same. Again, we can test the functionality in the scene, but the scene file wasn't touched. Finally, the last part is the level designer. And his task is to add an important wall to the scene. Then improve the level visuals by giving the ground some beautiful color. And in order to make the game playable, adjust the camera. This time, obviously, we had to touch the scene file. And now for the big moment. After 2 weeks of work, we want to bring the results of the different branches together. Let's first merge the work of the level designer. Obviously, since he is the first, there are no conflicts. Then let's merge the branch of Team A. And again, there are no conflicts. And probably by now you are not surprised that the third branch with Team B also won't introduce any conflicts. So all 3 branches introduced visible effects to the scene, but because of the prefabs, those changes were totally isolated. In theory, this was great. But let's also check what happened in Unity. We have a beautifully designed level. We have blue cubes and red spheres. And when we play the game, they are jumping and moving. Great. Obviously, this was just an abstract example of how you might isolate work. But I hope you can see from it that it might be worth thinking about some structure for your project when you want to use version control. And to be honest, using prefabs is probably also a good idea from a pure game development perspective in most cases. So making a good version control project might help in making a good software project in general. Notice that the order in which I merge those branches also doesn't matter. We could have merged any of the team branches first, and no other work would be affected. Prefabs are one example for separating concerns in Unity. There are obviously many others. Additive scenes, scriptable objects, addressables, and so on. Obviously, when you start having gigantic prefabs and work on them concurrently, you will encounter exactly the same issues. So the key takeaway here is, Some reasonable separation of concerns right from the start will help you avoid complicated merge conflicts. See you in the next video.